convicted and sentenced to life in prison for murdering 2 boys in Abesim in the Bono region. Stay with 97.3 Citi FM for more on these and many other stories on Eyewitness News. And in business,
Atlantic Lithium Limited ends takeover talks await parliamentary approval for a way lease.
That's in 50 minutes from the Citi Business Desk. Eyewitness News is live across Ghana on a host of affiliate stations, including Fafa will give us our list.
Well, in the Western region, we are Premier 100.5 FM, Beach 105.5 FM, and Sky 93.5 FM, all in Takrade. In the Bono region, we are Greener 95.9 FM in Sunyai. In the Ashanti region, it's Orange 107.9 FM in Kumasi. In the Eastern region, you can tune into Right 90.1 FM in Somenya, and in the Volta region, Holy 98.5 FM in Aflao. In the Northern region, we are Dasuma 99.1 FM in Yendi. In the Upper East region, it's Word 88.3 FM in Zwarungu, Mike 105.3 FM in Navungu, and Bolga 102.7 FM in Bolgatanga. Now in the Upper West region, you can tune into Bugli Radio 88.6 FM and Pupili 92.7 FM, both in Wa.
And around the globe, we are on citinewsroom.com. We are on Facebook and we are also on YouTube. Just look for Eyewitness News and follow the story there. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We're coming to you from our studios in Accra. I am Umaru Sandama. Do you want to join the conversation? Send your messages to 0549 986 996, 0549 986 996. Let's start off with an incident that happened in the Central region. 3 students of Swedrose School of Business have been arrested in connection with the assault on a student of Obratre Senior High Technical School during an inter-schools athletes competition. That's what we brought you yesterday. Ghana Police Service arrests 6 students of Agri Memorial Senior High School for allegedly assaulting a final year student of Adisadel College in Cape Coast. So both stories coming from the Central region. I'll share details and talk to the relevant authorities in a bit. Please stay.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Kuma has always dreamt of commanding his own military forces.
Attention! Eyes right, stand at ease.
Because that dream is still a vision in progress, he spends his time commanding his money with the EcoBank mobile app.
Operation Supplier Payment. Dispatch 1,000 units of currency from Accra to Benin. Move! Move!
Sometimes he wants a little extra control so that he can buy only what he needs.
Command Center mobile app. Activate virtual card protocol and initiate payments for sneakers and t-shirts. Abort mission for leather coat payment.
Even when the general is fast asleep, his standing order marches out to sort his bills. With the EcoBank mobile app, you can command your money to make safe transactions in Ghana and across 33 African countries. Download the EcoBank mobile app on the Play or App Store today.
By the left, about turn.
EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank. EcoBank will never call or send an SMS asking for your PIN, OTP, bank card, or Ghana card details.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
You're welcome back. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Sergeant Isaac Evans, LT, is Deputy Public Relations Officer of the Police in the Central Region. He's joining us on the line. Sir, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Maru.
So yesterday, you had a conversation with the Director of Education for the region. She said that your men had picked up some students in relation to that clash between students of Swedrose School of Business and the Obratre Senior High Technical School. We are learning today that you have made some more arrests. Can you tell us the details, please?
Thank you, Maru. First of all, my name is Chief Inspector Isaac Evans, ST.
Apologies for reducing your rank.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, thank you.
So, yes, you're welcome. So, following the press conference that the General CID had with the public yesterday regarding the assault on the students, around 9 p.m. yesterday, the 2 authorities brought 3 students to the police and hand over to them that they think they are part of those people who pelted stones at the students. So as we speak, they are in our custody and we are preparing them for court.
Okay, now, these students, we're told, were handed over to you. Is it because of the communication the head of CID made yesterday calling on the students to own up or the school authorities to hand them over? Is that how this came down, or you've had to go and do a head count and fish out these people based on the footage available?
Thank you. It wasn't like that. It was based on the communication our director had yesterday. Based on that, they brought the kids to us.
I see.
Yes.
So they are children, they are minors. How are you going to treat them? You are the police officer.
They are not under 18, so they are not minors. So if I could go through their names, we had Joseph Amu, 20 years, Benedict Apia, 18, and Bilal Mahmoud, 18. They are all 18 years old. They are adults now.
Okay.
According to the constitution. Yes.
So you'll be trying them as adults.
Yes.
What will be the charges if you already prepared them?
We are still on it. So of course, court harm will come, assault will also come, and the rest will follow as we fully prepare for them when we are ready to go to court.
What does that mean for their education? Because currently they are in school. Do we know whether they are in final year, second year, and what happens? Does their school automatically truncate? What happens?
Well, as of now, they have to face the court. Then the court will determine how they continue their school or not. So right now, that part is not in their hands. That is with the court now. So when we go to court and they are found not guilty, then they go back to their school. If they are found to, the law has to deal with them.
Okay. So while that was happening, and the education officials in the region have said they've suspended the intercore, we are receiving news that in Agri Memorial 2, there's an issue there, Agri Memorial versus Addis Adult College. Do you have any briefing at your office that you can share with us?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Around the same time, we had some reports that some 6 students from Agri Memorial had attacked an adult student, and he was rushed to the Intervention Hospital for treatment. But now he was released on Sunday, and is doing very well. So as we speak, the kids, they are minors. None of them is 18. So they are still the two authorities reporting to the police as and when we need them.
So they are minors. That's what you said.
Yeah, they are minors.
And so you'll be dealing with them as minors.
Yes, minors. Yes.
Okay, which means are their parents involved in any way in this matter?
Yes, their parents are involved. The school authorities are also involved.
And in the earlier case that we discussed, are their parents involved? The Swedru school versus the Obrachus?
Yeah, they have come. But since they are adults, they will have to take their own responsibilities. So their parents are come. We are still talking to them, but we still have to send them to court to face the law themselves.
Very well. Thank you so much for speaking to us, and wish you all the best. Thank you for the work you're doing.
Thank you, Maru. Thank you.
That's Chief Inspector Isaac Evans Etty, his Deputy PRO of the Central Regional Police Command. Let's speak to Dr. Peter Anti. He's Executive Director, Institute for Education Studies, IFEST. Sir, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Umar.
I know it will not be fair to single out Central Region because just 2 weeks or so ago, there was a similar incident in Eastern Region as well. But this is becoming one too many, isn't it?
Sure. It's because the students feel that although they have been involved in most of these incidents, they have not been dealt with according to, in a way that will be enough deterrent for others not to repeat same. I've listened to some of the police reports, and they indicate that last year, for example, some of these things that we are talking about happened, and there was nothing that was done. So to the students, it's a normal thing that they do when they go for sporting activities, and that is why they will continue to do that.
Is it an upbringing issue, as in nature issue or nature issue? Is it the environment?
It's a combination of a lot of factors. One of the things that I think we are not paying attention to is the fact that the age bracket of the students in the senior high school technically falls between students. People who are in their adolescent level. They are basically teenagers, and you know that this is a period of faith formation, personality development, and so on and so forth. And therefore, if you do not give them, enough supervision, and you don't monitor their lives, and you don't guide them, they are very susceptible to peer pressure, and that is one of the major things that is influencing the students in doing some of the things that they are doing. We also have issues of parenting. Most of the parents normally do not take particular interest in the kind of things that their wards do, and so parental deficits also is contributing to this. We have issue of, the system actually not designed enough to help these students. I've said that if you look at the educational system, these kids will spend almost 14 years of their life within our pre-tertiary educational system. And within the 14 years, every day from Monday to Friday, they spend roughly, if I'm not exaggerating, 8 hours in school. So one of the ways we could help deal with or mold their life is through the formal education system and the school curriculum. Deal with the behavior aspect, deal with the socio-emotional issues, but we have not also been able to focus on that. Our focus is so much on the students' ability to pass and get the A's, and that is what excites us. We are not so much interested in the kind of behavior these students are building to the extent that when they are in competition, they see the other competitors as rivals, and the best way they deal with them is to go on an assault spree, which is very, very disheartening. Because when these people step out of school, they are going to join political parties. They will join the MVP, they will join the NDC. They are going to find themselves in the world of work. They will be competitors. The school system have not been able to train these kids to appreciate that competition does not mean you are dealing with an enemy. And that is why I feel that another factor is our inability to focus more on behavioral and emotional, socio-emotional issues within the school system, and our focus also emphasis on the cognitive, and that is not helping us at all. Lastly, I would also say that in the era of social media, some of the things that we, the adults, do also are not helping. You see what the parliamentarians do, and these things are all over the social media. So it seems to these young guys who are now building their character that these are acceptable behavior, that when there is argument between two groups of people, one can go on destroying property and nothing happens. The society looks at it, they cheer for it. And that is also a very interesting scenario that can influence students to also undertake certain behavior, because they feel that society normally would not abhor some of these things. So it's a complete mix of, let's say, it's a mixed bag of fruits that is leading to this. And I think that since this has brought the discussion to the fore, every stakeholder, every relevant stakeholder would play their part to ensure that we sanitize the system and not, bite our fingers at the end of the day.
The conversation since it came up, many people have been saying, well, we have taken away the form of punishment we knew in our secondary schools, and so the teachers who are disciplinarians have become helpless, and as a result we are seeing what we are seeing. Do you agree that we should revert to what we used to do, perhaps hold a cane in the classroom?
I get worried when our default reaction to disciplinary issues is the cane. I get very worried. And it seems that we still think that the old methods of dealing with disciplinary issues is what would solve the problem. I said that we are dealing with a generation that have a different mentality on their own. During our time, you cannot walk towards a teacher and even ask or try to disrespect the teacher. These students are doing it without a blink. And you think that holding a cane would be enough deterrent for a student who can, who can decide to attack a teacher and beat him mercilessly. I have had incidents in schools in Central Region where students took canes from the teacher, although the teacher was even not using the cane on the student, and used it on the teacher. It happened in a school in Central Region. The teacher was a female teacher. So I don't know why we are so fixated with the cane. I don't think that looking at the nature of things these kids are doing, the cane would have been enough deterrent for them. I think that we need to do a comprehensive, we need to look at this from a comprehensive perspective and ensure that we bring to the fore all the arsenals all the tools in our toolbox and ensure that we are able to put these kids on the right track. I don't think the cane alone or the cane itself is the answer to what we are experiencing now. I don't think so.
So take away the cane, but should there be some forms of punishment, or you are against all forms of punishment?
Yes. No, there's, you see, that is also
but
another issue.
The other thing is that the other form of punishment that we often see is that go and weed, and the agriculturalists will tell you that's why people are not going into that field too, because agriculture should not be seen as punishment.
Umaru, you see, one of the things that sometimes we all talk about it. If you take the DES positive disciplinary toolkit that was developed around 2015, 2016, which was supposed to replace the use of the cane in our. It's a very rich document. Do you know why the teachers were not able to implement it? Because the things in there are things that are specialized. That are supposed to be specialized processes, and they are normally carried out by people who are behaviorists and then counselors. And the authorities then could not train the teachers enough to be able to implement these positive toolkits that they introduced when they took off the cane from the system. So that is one of the reasons. So the teachers feel helpless because they cannot implement the positive toolkit, and at the same time they cannot use the cane. So that disciplinary process which is supposed to be in place for the teacher to be able to ensure that he has control over the class, over the student that they are dealing with, it's lost. And that is one of the problems that we are dealing with. For reading, I think that we should have a second conversation around it. I don't think reading is a punishment, as you said. I guess people would say. I don't think reading is a punishment. I feel that we should have a second conversation around it. Maybe the time for the reading is a problem, but reading itself should not be seen as a punishment in our system.
Now, the issue of clashes between students at intercore is not a new thing. The issue of peer pressure that I talked about is not a new thing. The fact that a person is a teenager and that's where they behave in the way they are behaving is not a new thing, is it? Because it appears we are only amplifying the issue now because social media is amplifying it. Could we say then that it has always been with us, or you think that this particular society of our time is not doing a good job?
Some of the things that are happening, I agree with you, are not new, but the forms that they are taking, for me, are new. You would not see ordinary, the society that I grew up in, you would not see students ganging up and then throwing stones on a fellow student without any provocation. You wouldn't see that. You wouldn't see students ganging up to rape a colleague student when they go for sporting activities. You wouldn't see that. We felt during those times, we thought that sporting activities was a period where you socialize, you get friends from the other schools, especially those of us who were coming from the very low, let's say category B, C schools. You get friends from the category A schools, and that was enough flex for us. And those were the periods that you get the opportunity to even step out from the school without enough supervision. So for me, the current behavior is a little bit new, and the social media creates another thing, amplifying it a lot more. And I think that the way we were treated should not be the same way we should treat this case at this time, because their understanding and exposure is different from the understanding and exposure that we used to have during our time. And I think because of that, we will need to be very careful to assume that everything that is happening, it seems to be something that is not new. For me, they speak a lot about the kind of generation that we are. we are technically dealing with.
Thank you so much for speaking to us, sir.
You're welcome, sir.
That's Dr. Peter Enti. He's Executive Director of the Institute for Education Studies, IFS. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Oh, jump on
Go. Ah, Ugomi, and what time when you come back, we are not hear the sound of your car. Why you buy new car?
No, I not change my car. It be the same right. It be the fuel way I change. Way one shouts it. Ever since I started using the all-new Excellium Premium Fuel, fortified with 3-in-1 action. Oh, Joe, now my car they run like electric car. No, it's so.
This is the type of fuel where they want to. Because now engine they cost. Where they want for way if I buy it, it go protect my engine. And with the small way I buy, I go drive
Absolutely. It's like strapping a turbocharger to your engine and giving it a protector. And what they bust my mind self be the 3-in-1 action, no? Excellium they prevent up to 99% of deposit. It be anti-wear, some be anti-corrosion.
So where can I find this magical fuel?
Just head over to any Total Energy service station and your car will thank you.
Hey, then make a finish my go be fast, then rush go Total Energies. My friend, but why your hand my go be inside?
I give you info. Make a feel the go be too small.
Go.
Excellium is designed to protect your car engine, decrease fuel consumption, and lower CO2 emissions. Don't say fuel, say Excellium. Choose Excellium, choose quality.
The other day, I visited Kweku at his spunky new office to congratulate him on opening his business. And man, was I impressed. The business is just moving quick. The sales, customers, everything is just working seamlessly. The secret? He said,
It's MTN Business Broadband. In this fast-paced environment, we need fast and reliable internet to support all business types. No laggy online meetings, great download and upload speeds, impeccable business management systems, all inclusive. I mean, you can have it all.
Shout! I signed on immediately.
To enable your business stay ahead and stay connected, make sure you're signed on to the best internet made just for businesses. MTN Business Broadband. Sign up today on broadband.mtn.com.gh and manage your account on my MTN app. Call 0244 308 111 for more information.
MTN. Are you ready to revolutionize the future of agriculture? The Ministry of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, in partnership with the Ghana Exim Bank, proudly presents the Ghana Agrotech Fair 2026. The fair will feature exhibitions, market linkages, masterclasses, and workshops on climate-smart farming, digital tools, and export development. Join us at the Black Star Square from March 17 to March 19 at 9 a.m. each day. The President of the Republic, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, will be assisted by the Minister for Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, the Honorable Elizabeth Ofuswijari, and the Chief Executive of the Ghana Exim Bank, Honorable Sylvester Adina Mensah, to open the fair. Government agencies, agrotech firms, startups, farmers, financial institutions, and the general public are all welcome. To exhibit or for inquiries, call 0559 679326 or 0242 585419. Media partners: Daily Graphic, Media Journal, Radio Gold, Citi FM, and Channel 1 TV. Ghana Agrotech Fair 2026, transforming agribusiness through local innovation and technology.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
You're welcome back. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Let me bring some of the messages I've been sending through. Both hooligans and attacks on teachers, both hooliganisms and attacks on teachers must be tackled head on. It's as a result of the generation of our moral fibers, and the earlier we subdue it, the better. Akapo Jr. and Hafomim sending that. We need discipline in our schools now. That's Abi National in Wa. I'm Anya from Nangodi, and it says the acts of indiscipline and hooliganism among SHS students is becoming one too many. I plead with the Ministry of Education and the Ghana Education Service to reinstate corporal punishment to deal with this act. The laxity of school rules due to directives from GS is causing the rise in students' indiscipline and hooliganism of late. This one says I'm in support strongly with the minority leader. The doctors and nurses should be summoned by Parliament, and their license should be collected or seized, by the President as punishment to serve as a deterrent to others, or else this circular problem I think you want to say cyclical. So this cyclical problem will never come to an end. That's Sani from East Legon. I want to believe that the minority leader is taking a good course, and we must all add our voices, because you never know who will be the next victim. The leaders of the various hospitals must be called to book. That's from Jones Aduboy in La. The man should stop this, and not the man should stop that. It's not the students in our senior high schools now, because about 15 to 20 years ago, this message is not clear. I'll not read that. I commend the Ghana Police Service for their swift and decisive arrest of the Swedru students involved in the violence. Firm and uncompromising action must be pursued to send a strong deterrent to others. Any politician or public officer who attempts to obstruct their prosecution must be publicly named and exposed without hesitation. The case must be handled with full transparency to strengthen public confidence in the rule of law. That's Daniel Akpalio from Sandema. Aziz Donline was says, certainly the future of the country is uncertain because students' misbehavior is becoming unacceptable, and therefore GES should reintroduce caning as punishment simpliciter. This one says, is the man saying he gets worried about old disciplining methods when people talk about them? Did the old system have negative effect on him or us? Did he die when he was lashed or given a space to eat? He should compare the old system's discipline in society against that of today's and come again. The old way is the best way for the Ghanaian. Even the Bible recommends it. That's from OC 100 in Ho West. You can send your message to 0549 986 996, 0549 986 996. And talking about that, we have a reaction, don't we, have from, is it Waik or Nagrat, on that matter? Fafa?
Well, yes, we have a reaction from Nagrat calling for a review of the senior high school admission process. Well, speaking to Citi News, the national president of Nagrat, Jacob Anaba, said the current admission system contributes to disciplinary challenges in schools and must be reassessed.
Levels of accountability should be high. Somebody designed a program. Who did what? Who didn't do what? In terms of emergencies, what did they do? Those should be levels of accountability, and people need to be held accountable. Going forward, whether you are doing psychologies or you are having pause games or something, these are events that you will need security guidance and safety briefings from the police in general. If you do not have private security consultants who will help you in that regard, it helps you to streamline what you want.
The wholesale admission of students. You see, education is for everyone, but it's not everyone that should go through that education. And we have different types of education. So if a student is not fit for the grammar type, and you force the student to go in there, the student is likely to do things that will be untoward. So we have to restructure our admission protocols. And the courses that the student are offered. If a student is offered a course that he's not so interested in, the motivation is low, and therefore he looks for other avenues to make himself happy in the school. And these are some of the reasons that we are seeing this. So these are things that we must look at holistically, but not just point at one as a factor. There are many of the factors that are contributing to this. Schools will have tensions, they come after each other, but to target one student and stone and attack, that we don't see it, unless a student did something that he was targeted.
Jacob Anaba is the national president of the National Association of Graduate Teachers, NAGRAT.
Let's go to the court now, and there was a verdict today delivered by the court in relation to a murder case in Abisim in the Bono region, not far from Sunyani. Hansen Ajimani is our legal affairs correspondent. He's in studio with me. Hansen, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Sander.
So what is the story? How long ago since this murder happened? Judgment delivered finally today.
So in about 5 years ago, this was in August 2021. The first incident happened on August 15, where a young child left home, didn't return, and then there was a search party for him. And on August 20, the accused person, who will later now become the convict, went to his mother's shop and then lured...
And this happened where?
In Abisim near Sunyani, and lured the step-brother to his home. We are told that prior to this, he was living in the family house and he moved away from the family house to a 6-bedroom house. Due to the fact that his stepbrother, who he had moved with him or who he had lured to his house, had not returned home, even though his uncle, this is the accused uncle, had gone to inquire from him the whereabouts of his stepbrother, and he had indicated to him that he had actually sent him back home. There was a search party now again for another second boy. In the first instance, which happened on August 15, 2021, a report had been made to the police that a young boy was missing. Then on August 22, 2021, there was also a report made after frantic search for this second boy.
So 7 days apart.
7 days. So
2 boys, same family.
Not the same family, but within the same vicinity.
Okay.
But one of them related to the accused person, who will later now become the convict in the matter.
Mm-hmm.
So during the search for the second boy, which is his step brother, they searched they searched the house, which is a 6-bedroom house. But in one particular room where he had logged, we are told that he refused to allow for the search party to look into it. And his excuse was that there was a tenant in that particular room who had moved out and still had his things in the room. Then one of the members of the search party later returned to the home and looked through the window of the room which had been locked and saw a lifeless body there. The police was then contacted. They came to the room, broke the gate, the door, entered, found 2 bodies lying in the room, and then later found a body which has been cut into pieces.
One body lying on the floor, and
one body lying on the floor, and later saw another body which has been cut into pieces, with the head which has been beheaded, the limbs and various parts of the bodies that had been cut into various pieces and put into a polythene bag and put in a fridge. Some aspects of that particular body were not seen up to date, like the heart as well as the male organ was not seen. Particularly with the male organ, when he was inquired, evidence will later suggest that he says it was washed down the drain. And so he was arrested in 2021, went through committal proceedings. Within that period, there were questions as to whether he was sane enough to stand trial because of the gruesome nature of the incident. The prosecution itself and the court ordered that he should be checked as to whether everything was right mentally. It came out that he was not mentally stable to stand trial, but with medications was later declared fit to stand trial, and he was committed to stand trial for murder at the High Court. The matter was moved to Accra because of the level of attention it garnered when it broke, and so it was moved to the High Court in Accra and was assigned to Criminal Court 1 for hearing. The state called 5 witnesses in all, including the fathers of the victims, including a pathologist, including a police detective in Sunyani, and also including a police detective in Accra who later took over the case. The evidence they gave suggested that the accused person, who is an ex-footballer, had actually he actually did the killing, and they also sought to prove that he did it with intent, which is one of the critical elements to prove in murder. The accused person, after the state was able to prove a prima facie case, was asked to open his defense. His father testified on his behalf, and he also testified as well. His father testified to the fact that his son had been behaving in a strange manner periods before and after the incident, and he sought to tell the court that it suggests that he behaved in that same manner during the time the offense was committed. Then he himself testified, and he admitted to the to the act, having killed the two boys, but he said he didn't have intent to kill them because he was not mentally stable, and at the time he was listening, or there were voices that were speaking to him. These voices instructed him to either kill these children or he rather will be killed. He also then called a psychiatrist who did a mental examination of him to testify. The psychiatrist in court said he was schizophrenic, had a mental disease, but during cross-examination, the state had pointed out to that particular psychiatrist that her duty was to check his state for trial and not to check his state of mind at the time of the murder of offense was committed.
So this Richard Appiah, who has now been convicted and sentenced to serve life in prison, did he confess in court that he did the killing, but he did it when he was not normal?
Yes, so in court, he testified that yes, indeed he did kill the two boys. In his caution statements before the police, he did admit to killing them. So he rather said that he didn't have the intent, and so he made the argument of guilty but insane.
So when it came to it, so Justice Her Ladyship Rubiayete is a presiding judge. In these cases, it's not a judge who necessarily pronounces guilt.
Yeah, so it was a trial by a judge and a jury because it's an indictable offense, and so the judge is supposed to help the jury understand the law related to the offense, which is murder, and then the jury, a 7-member panel, they are supposed to, based on evidence that has been adduced and the understanding that they've gained from the law as it has been explained by the judge, to now be the judges of the fact as to whether indeed he did kill the two boys and with the intent of killing them with unlawful harm.
So what were they supposed to go and tell the court? Okay, so when they say the jury is out, it means they have heard enough, they are going to deliberate and come back. So they were supposed to come back with two options.
Yes.
Either say he should go walk home or not.
So ordinarily it would have been 3 options. Mm-hmm. Whether he was guilty, not guilty, or he was a special verdict of guilty but insane. Mm-hmm. But in this instance, the judge explained that the accused person himself has admitted on countless occasions that yes, the physical act of killing these 2 boys, I did do it, but when it comes to the intent, I didn't have intent because I was mentally challenged at the time the incident happened. And so that was the argument, or let me say the defense of the accused person. But the prosecution had presented evidence to say that the accused could not have relied on the argument or the defense of insanity to say that if someone is guilty but insane, the person must prove that he did not know what he was doing, or he did not know that what he was doing was wrong.
What's the difference in punishment if he was, for instance, found to be guilty but insane?
If he was found to be guilty by insane, it's a special verdict, which means that how it will be served will be at the direction of the president, at the pleasure of the president. But usually it is directing him to a holding unit or psychiatric unit treatment where he'll be taken through treatment
rather than SOAM.
And if after a point in time when he's fine and he's not having the mental challenge again, he may be released from that holding facility.
So now he's going to SOAM because the jury returned a verdict
of guilty. Essentially, meaning that the jury didn't agree that at the material time that he committed the offense, he was insane.
I see. So he's going for life for the two murders.
At least for now, that is his lawyer or his lawyers have given an indication that they are going to appeal, and they said that hopefully tomorrow they'll file the notice of appeal. But until it is overturned or until a decision is taken by the Court of Appeal, he has been given the direction or the sentence of life imprisonment, which obviously will be in any of the prisons that will have space available.
So he was taken away.
He was
in handcuffs.
He was.
Okay, very well. Thank you so much. That's Hansen Ajiman. He's our legal affairs correspondent, and this is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Let me bring in Fafa, who has other stories for us.
Well, the minority leader, Alexander Apenyomarking, is calling on the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, to summon the management of the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, the Police Hospital and Ridge Hospital. This follows the alleged denial of medical care by these hospitals to a hit-and-run victim, which resulted in his death. The Evutu Member of Parliament says the Health Committee must probe the circumstances surrounding Charles Emisa's death to ensure sanctions are imposed if negligence is established.
I call on the Health Committee to be immediately empowered to do the following. 1, and Mr. Speaker, with your directive, summon the Chief Executive Officers and heads of emergency units of the 3 hospitals involved. 2, demand production of triage logs, duty rosters, and bed occupancy records for that night. 3, establish conclusively whether the 2018 Ghana Health Service Directive was breached, and finally, determine whether professional misconduct or negligence occurred. If misconduct is found, sanctions must follow. If negligence is proven, prosecution must follow.
You are the minority leader, Alexander Apenyomarking. Now, still on this, the board chairman of the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, Professor Titus Bayu, says the government is set to introduce a national integrated bed management and referral coordination system to comprehensively address the no-bed syndrome. The policy is expected to provide real-time information on available hospital beds nationwide, enabling the National Ambulance Service to quickly identify facilities with the capacity to admit patients. The Lambusi Member of Parliament made this known while contributing to a statement on the death of a hit-and-run victim on the floor of Parliament.
This work has been ongoing. It is unfortunate that while it was in its final weeks, this incident has happened. And the Minister has asked the group to quicken up their work so that he can make a major announcement on this to bring a comprehensive change that would help us. It will rope in the ambulance service so that when the ambulance picks a patient, they don't ask the patient or their relative or a doctor in a small private hospital, can you tell us which hospital is willing to accept this patient? This is the current situation. I've had calls from a lot of colleagues here. They need a patient moved to Kolebu, and their response be that there's no bed at Kolebu emergency. But when I call, there will be a bed. Why? So this is what this problem, solution that the Minister is bringing is going to solve. And I'm pleading that Parliament will give the Minister all the support needed so that this problem can be solved once and for all.
You are the board chairman of the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, Professor Titus Bayu. Now, the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, has directed the Health Committee of Parliament to investigate the outcomes of the various probes instituted into the death of Charles Emisa. Addressing the House after lawmakers reacted to the matter, Alban Bagbin described the death of Charles Emisa as needless.
I will direct our Committee on Health to take all the reports that will come from the ministry, the Kolebu Hospital, or wherever, and go deeply into it. We have to take control. We need to inquire further into the matter, and we need to hold people accountable. This is one of the needless deaths we have experienced in this country. At the end of the day, I will urge the House for us to legislate on the matter. We need to pass an emergency care law. Emergency care law on this matter. The chair of the Committee on Health, the ranking member, please carry your members along, work on this matter. At the end of the day, the minister responsible for health, together with the committee, will have to come before this House. Then we can take that opportunity to legislate on the matter and try to bring finality to these needless deaths in our country.
You are the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin. Still on the death of 29-year-old Charles Emisa, the Ghana Medical Association is urging authorities to proceed cautiously as investigations continue. The Kolebu Teaching Hospital interdicted 2 doctors and 2 nurses over the alleged failure to provide emergency care to the victim. Secretary of the Ghana Medical Association, Dr. Richard Selome, lauded the swift action but urged the government to address systemic challenges in emergency healthcare delivery across hospitals in the country.
From the outset, we are clear that the Ghana Medical Association does not and will not condone wrongdoing by any staff whatsoever. However, we believe that it is important that the staff are also given a fair hearing on the matter. What we are learning is that it's an interdiction and not a suspension, because that is for us very important to ensure that they are not being scapegoated or victimized by the authorities. We believe also that beyond just the colleagues, one of them who is even in training, the leadership at various levels must also take some of the blame for whatever is found, be it as it may, when the committee sits and delves into the matter. We also want to advise that it is important that we do not prejudge the matter and allow the committee that has been duly constituted by the minister to look into the matter, not as a Kolebu matter alone, but as a holistic matter, considering the various systemic issues that have bedeviled the country.
Dr. Selome also encouraged newly posted doctors to accept assignments in rural areas. He noted that the Ministry of Health, in collaboration with other stakeholders, is reviewing the rural incentives package to create more conducive conditions for health professionals working in underserved communities.
We should be celebrating, to some extent, the modest gains we have made in getting medical officers to accept postings. From the beginning in November, where only about 120 people had actually accepted postings out of the 700, we believe that all actors in this, the Honorable Minister, Ghana Medical Association, and other actors that have been working behind the scenes on the committee to try to encourage more to attend, whilst we deal with the persistent issues of poor accommodation and other incentives that are not present to attract and retain professionals, health professionals, not only doctors. We must be encouraging them more, do further engagements, and work on ensuring that the policy document, the draft policy document that we have worked on the rural incentive package for not just doctors but other health workers, to attract and retain them, is fully implemented. And on this matter, I must commend the minister for reviving the discussions on that document, and we are going to review it. We are reviewing it as we speak.
You are the Secretary of the Ghana Medical Association, Dr. Richard Selome.
This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Up next is Citi Business News on Eyewitness News, brought to you by Republic Bank. We are the one for you. Join the Republic Verse. Do more, shine more, big up.
Takojo, 1 minute before you go to work. The AC you said you want to fix, it won't work. Why? Because the electrician will come and chisel my wall. It will make my building weak. Wait, is that a puppy? No animals in my house, oh.
Kojo knows all the challenges about renting. That was his reality until he discovered Republic Bank. With Republic Bank's flexible mortgage solutions, you can move from tenant to homeowner quickly. Imagine stepping into your own home, a place for your family to grow and create memories. Big up. Join the Republic Verse. Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Oh, jump on now.
Go. Ugomi, and what time when you come back where I don't hear the sound of your car? Why you buy new car?
No, I don't change my car. It be the same, right? It be the fuel way I change. Way one shouts it. Ever since I started using the all-new Excellium Premium Fuel, fortified with 3-in-1 action. Oh, Joe, now my car they run like electric car. No, it's so.
This is the type of fuel where they want to. Cause now engine they cost. Where they want for way if I buy it, it go protect my engine. And with the small way I buy, I go drive, sir.
Absolutely. It's like strapping a turbocharger to your engine and giving it a protector. And what they bust my mind self be the 3-in-1 action, no? Excellium they prevent up to 99% of deposit. It be anti-wear, some be anti-corrosion. One pair way now open there.
Hey, so where can I find this magical fuel?
Just head over to any Total Energy service station and your car will thank you.
Hey, then make a finish my go be fast, then rush go Total Energies.
You're welcome back. That time for Citi Business News on Eyewitness News. I am Melody Fafa, but let's settle for the details now. Atlantic Lithium Limited has terminated takeover discussions as it shifts focus to securing parliamentary ratification of the mining lease for the Ewoya lithium project. This decision now places Ghana's approval process at the center of the company's valuation outlook. Well, away from that, economist Professor Godfred Bokpin has cautioned that the recent appreciation of the cedi could expose Ghana's economy to increased import pressures with potential dislocations across key sectors. Speaking to Citi Business News, Professor Bokpin described the pace of the cedi's gains as too aggressive, warning that a sharp strengthening of the local currency could undermine the competitiveness of domestic producers. His comments come ahead of President John Dramani Mahama's State of the Nation address scheduled for February 27.
The approach government adopted to resetting the economy has worked to a large extent in terms of resetting the economic fundamentals. Essentially, you could see clearly that inflation was a big issue for government and the exchange rate, and therefore they set out to bring down inflation. And inflation has come down drastically. In my estimation, inflation has come down far below what we expected. That in itself has its own risks. Then when you talk about the exchange rate, the cedi has appreciated. My considered view is that the level of appreciation was too aggressive for a small open economy like ours that has weak and high domestic productive cost base. It only makes us more vulnerable to import and has potential to cause dislocations in the economy and affect exports significantly.
Professor Godfred Bokpin is an economist. Away from that, the Danish embassy in Ghana has intensified efforts to support local farmers by facilitating a high-level Danish business delegation to explore strategic partnerships in sustainable agriculture. The delegation's visit is aimed at strengthening capacity within Ghana's food value chains and advancing private sector collaboration in line with the government's Feed Ghana initiative. Speaking at the Denmark-Ghana Agro-Business Forum in Accra, Head of Trade and Investment at the Danish Embassy, Jørgen Bollesen, underscored the importance of increased investment, innovation and skills transfer to accelerate growth in Ghana's agricultural sector.
During this visit, I identified 8 areas of mutual interest in fitting into the Feed Ghana program. So basically you can say that this is the first attempt to make a knowledge transfer from Denmark to Ghana. If you look at the recent events where you have crops laying on the fields, you have issues with vegetables that does not reach the markets in fresh condition, there we have actually both the storage providers and we have the cold chain providers. They're the first line here. The next one is the poultry priorities from the Ministry of Food and Agro. So we have a poultry slaughterhouse providers, processing providers. We have Arla Ingredients, which comes with huge and in-depth knowledge of how to get more yield out of your products in the baking industry, the chocolate industry, and so on and so forth.
You had the head of trade and investment at the Danish Embassy, Jørgen Bollesen. Now, the Food and Beverages Association of Ghana, FABAC, has urged government to extend a restriction on cooking oil imports through land borders into a full prohibition, warning that limiting the directive to transit goods could create loopholes for smuggling. The call follows a directive from the Ghana Revenue Authority, which bars the transit of selected goods through Ghana's land borders. Under the directive, such consignments are required to enter the country exclusively through the seaports. While welcoming the policy move, the executive chairman of the Food and Beverages Association of Ghana, Reverend John Awuni, warned that traders seeking to circumvent the regulation could exploit alternative land entry points, undermining the objective of protecting local industry and ensuring fair competition.
For several years, this influx of transit goods through the land borders has posed serious challenges to legitimate businesses, undermined local manufacturing, distorted market competition, and import ecosystem, particularly within the food and beverages sector, where unregulated inflows of goods have had severe implications for local producers and the formal sector operators. While we commend this important action at the flower border, we respectfully urge the government of Ghana, and for that matter, the Ghana Revenue Authority, to extend this directive to all other land borders across the country without exception. Limiting such enforcement to a single border risks diversion of transit goods to other entry points, thereby defeating the policy's intended objective.
You had Reverend John Awuni, Executive Chairman of the Food and Beverages Association of Ghana, FABAC. Now, Minister for Trade and Agribusiness Elizabeth Ofosu-Adjare has stated that the newly certified Integrated Customs Management System will boost government revenue and improve efficiency across Ghana's trade value chain. According to her, the enhanced system reliability will help reduce bottlenecks at the ports and create a more seamless experience for importers and exporters. Speaking on the sidelines of the certification ceremony for the data center operated by Ghana Lake Network Services Limited, she noted that the certification is expected to strengthen internal controls.
Central to our trading activities in this country, whether you are importing or exporting, ICOMS is very central. And so if ICOM has presented itself to be tested by a third party in the name of the ISO certification, I think it's a step in the right direction. This kind of gives us confidence that it is going to be more efficient than it has been. And we are also excited that it has migrated to a bigger data center, and this is even going to serve the import and export community better. It's very essential for us because it's kind of a one-stop shop at the harbor to make sure that things are done seamlessly. And so if they improve their service, all the better. And I'm happy that they've gone this far to get an ISO certification for the ICOMS, and we hope that this will bring a lot of efficiency into our export and import space, and it's going to help government to also rake in the needed taxes for national development.
You are the Minister for Trade and Agribusiness, Elizabeth Ofosu-Adjare. And that's all for Citi Business News on Eyewitness News, brought to you by Republic Bank. We are the one for you. Join the Republic verse. Do more, shine more, big up. I am Melody Fafa, but if we're up next is Point Blank.
Mr. Kojo, 1 minute before you go to work. The AC you said you want to fix, it won't work.
Why?
Because the electrician will come and chisel my wall. It will make my building weak. Wait, is that a puppy? No animals in my house, oh.
Kojo knows all the challenges about renting. That was his reality until he discovered Republic Bank. With Republic Bank's flexible mortgage solutions, you can move from tenant to homeowner quickly. Imagine stepping into your own home, a place for your family to grow and create memories. Big up. Join the Republic Verse. Republic Bank. we're the one for you.
Challenge these days, new level crown. Where did you pass?
Me, pass somewhere. I just switched for a better life. I switched for comfort. Look, your salary deserves better.
Switch?
Yeah.
How do you mean?
I switched my salary account to Fidelity Bank.
Oh, okay.
And that's my jackpot. I get higher loan amounts with lower interest rates, as well as personalized financial support. They gave me a loan to expand my side hustle. And the terms are just flexible.
Wow.
Your salary deserves better.
Oh, my salary deserves better, Pa. You see the way you are smiling wide? Yes, I will switch and smile wider.
Your salary deserves better. Switch to Fidelity Bank today and enjoy lower interest rate, car and home loan, personalized financial support, and a smile that lasts. Switch and smile wider. Fidelity Bank. Believe with us.
If I believe with us, Fidelity. If I know I on your side, Fidelity.
Ramadan Kareem, a season of peace, blessings, and giving. Electroland Ghana Limited is bringing blessings into your home with special value deals on Samsung, TCL, Media, and NASCO. NASCO TVs from just $699, bottom fridge freezer from $1999, chest freezer from $1999, Samsung 6 kg twin tap washing machine for 2,999 Ghana cedis, Samsung microwaves from 1,799 Ghana cedis, TCL 43 inches for 2,999 Ghana cedis, TCL water dispenser for 1,599 Ghana cedis, TCL front load inverter for 5,999 Ghana cedis, Media air cooler for 1,499 Ghana cedis, air fryer, juicer, stand mixer, and blender at all special Ramadan prices. Visit EGL showrooms and authorized dealers nationwide. Call us on 0503 159739 and on our website at www.electrolandgh.com. Electroland Ghana, bringing Ramadan value home.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
This is Point Blank on Eyewitness News. I am Umaru Sandamadu. Tonight on Point Blank, we are going back to Parliament. The issue of the no-bed syndrome that led to the death of one man after having been rejected by the police hospital, the Ridge Hospital, and Kolebu Teaching Hospital was the subject of debate in Parliament today. Lawmakers debated on what happened, and also there were calls for the members or leaders of these hospitals to come and answer. Let's listen to the debate.
Arise in this chamber with a heavy heart, weighed down by grief, with a spirit stirred by righteous indignation, and with a profound sense of national covenant broken. Mr. Speaker, we must today confront a truth as painful as it is undeniable. Our healthcare system, the sanctuary to which citizens flee in their most fragile hour, failed. It failed catastrophically, and it failed fatally. Let me be emphatic. This is not a partisan matter. Therefore, this chamber must not descend into the usual theater of political point scoring. It is not about the NDC nor the MPP. This transcends political advantage. Mr. Speaker, this is about a human being, a young Ghanaian citizen. His name was Charles Emisa, a 29-year-old man in the prime of his life, reportedly employed by Promotional Ghana Limited, who should, by every moral and legal right, be alive today. Instead, he perished. He died in the back of an ambulance, virtually on the streets of our capital city, because the institutions mandated to protect life turned him away. Mr. Speaker, on the 9th of the 6th of February 2026, Charles Emisa was involved in a hit-and-run accident at the Circle Overpass. At 10:32 p.m., the ambulance 15 received a distress call. At 10:33, it mobilized. At 10:35, it was on site. Let the record show the Ghana Ambulance Service performed its duty with professionalism and dispatch. They found him bleeding profusely. They assessed him. His vital signs were recorded. Blood pressure 120/90, pulse 100 beats per minute, oxygen saturation 99%. These were the vital signs of a living man, a man with a fighting chance. They stabilized him, controlled the hemorrhage, and rushed him to the gates of hope. But hope, Mr. Speaker, was met with a closed door. At the police hospital, they were told, quote, no bed, end quote. At the Rich Hospital, the answer was the same, no bed. At Kolebu Teaching Hospital, our premier medical facility, they were rejected again. Let us be clear on what this means. At none of these facilities was triage conducted. At none were vital signs that even taken. Charles Emisa remained in that ambulance, his life ebbing away, while the institutions established by the Republic of Ghana to save him refused to receive him. After approximately 30 minutes of this shameful odyssey, he went into cardiac arrest. Despite the effort of the ambulance crew, CPR yielded no response. He was pronounced dead. A life extinguished, not by the initial accident, by a systemic failure of the state. Mr. Speaker, this House must particularly be outraged because this was not merely an accident of circumstance. It was a direct violation of state policy. In 2018, under the leadership of the then Director General of Ghana Health Service, a clear directive was issued explicitly prohibiting the denial of emergency care on the basis of bed availability. The directive was unequivocal. It mandated immediate triage, immediate stabilization, and the use of alternative surfaces, couches, tables, wheelchairs, and where beds were unavailable. The principle was and remains simple. Stabilize first, resolve bed logistics later. In the case of Charles Emisa, that principle was abandoned and a man died as a result. Mr. Speaker, before I proceed further, it is right and proper that we pause. We must look beyond the policy failures and statistics and see the face of a young man who we have lost. I wish on behalf of my side of the House, and I believe I speak for every honorable member present, to extend our deepest, most heartfelt condolences to the family, friends and colleagues of Charles Emisa, who now face an unthinkable void. To his siblings, his loved ones, and his colleagues at Promotional, Ghana Limited, we share your immeasurable grief. Nothing we do here, Mr. Speaker, today will bring Charles back. But let it never be said that this Parliament heard of such a tragedy and remain unmoved is a reason why, Mr. Speaker, I'm grateful for this treasure space to make this statement. Furthermore, Mr. Speaker, while we hold our public institutions to account, we must not lose sight of the fact that this tragic chain of events was set in motion by a cowardly act. A hit-and-run driver struck down Charles Emisa and fled the scene, leaving him for dead. I therefore call upon the Ghana Police Service to deploy every resource, every investigative technique, and every intelligence capable at their disposal to track down and apprehend this individual. Justice for Charles demands that the person whose reckless actions precipitated this nightmare be found and made to answer fully before the law. Let them know that the long arm of the Ghanaian state will not tire until they are brought to account. Mr. Speaker, I respectfully invite this Honorable House not to be silent over this. Now we must act. We are informed that the Ministry and HEFRA have launched investigations. We welcome these actions, but let no one mistake executive inquiry for parliamentary oversight. Under Article 103 of the 1992 Constitution, this House has the primary duty to investigate matters of public importance and to expose inefficiencies and maladministration. Therefore, in all humility, but with firmness of mind, I call on the Health Committee to be immediately empowered to do the following. 1, and Mr. Speaker, with your directive, summon the chief executive officers and heads of emergency units of the 3 hospitals involved. 2, demand production of triage logs, duty rosters, and bed occupancy records for that night. 3, establish conclusively whether the 2018 Ghana Health Service Directive was breached. And finally, determine whether professional misconduct or negligence occurred. If misconduct is found, sanctions must follow. If negligence is proven, prosecution must follow. If a systematic failure is identified, comprehensive reform must follow. Mr. Speaker, let me leave the House with these final thoughts. If a young man can be carried from one public hospital to another, refuse at every door until he dies, then the social contract is broken, and none of us, I repeat, none of us is safe. Not the rich, not the poor, not the politician, not the ordinary man on the street. The death of Charles Emisa must force this nation to change. Human life cannot be subordinate to administrative convenience. Emergency cannot be optical. Our hospitals do not have the moral or legal discretion to abandon the dying. Mr. Speaker, I so humbly submit.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to the statement. And let me also express my deepest condolences to the family of the late Charles Emisa on behalf of all of us, and in particular on behalf of the board and management of the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. Mr. Speaker, I also want to thank the minority leader for this statement. It's very timely, and he has set the tone for us to really examine the issues. Permit me to take us a bit down memory lane to remind us of something that is not too pleasant. In June 2018, there was a 70-year-old man, Mr. Prince Anthony Poku Echampong, who died after visiting 7 hospitals, including a hospital that his company supplies stationery to. He was a CEO of a stationery company, and they supplied stationery to this hospital, and he was turned away. And the explanation or excuse was the same. The then Minister of Health did his best, constituted committees to ensure that this will never happen again. Unfortunately, 8 years down the line, we have this time a younger person, strong person, an engineer, losing his life to a similar circumstance. Very, very, very unfortunate. But Mr. Speaker, when we say no bed in the hospital, what actually do we mean? A no bed could mean that there is no physical bed at the emergency. It could also mean that there is no blood if the managers anticipate that that patient will need blood, and so they want the person to go elsewhere. It could mean there is no a particular skill. For instance, an anesthetist is not there, and they think that that patient will require surgery. It could mean there is no theater space. It could mean there is no oxygen in this hospital. There is no ICU bed, but we think that this patient needs ICU care. It could mean there is no stroke bed, and therefore we are telling you no bed because you have a stroke. There is no doctor at this moment, so there is no bed. Mr. Speaker, but the most disappointing part is that no bed could simply mean that the staff are not willing to work. And that is the very, very sad part. This no bed could mean that a shift is about to end and someone is not willing to admit a new patient and do all the documentation, so turn the patient away. No bed could mean that the doctor is afraid to work or is tired and feels that if he touch that patient and the patient pass away, duty of care is established legally because he has touched the patient. So see no evil. I have not touched that patient, so you cannot blame me for it. But is it really right if a patient dies in the precinct of a hospital, at the entrance of the emergency, wait there for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and you say because you've not seen that patient, no duty of care is established? The legal brains will have to help us out. Mr. Speaker, the causes of no bed in this country has been established by previous committees under the former Health Minister, Honorable Kweku Adjumamenu, and I worked on that committee in my former capacity as General Secretary of the Medical Association. We all contributed to it. But still, the attitudinal problem and some few other factors have brought us this far. You can group the causes into structural, into functional, and one of attitude. If you talk about structure, the WHO recommends that we should have about 2 to 5 beds per 10,000 population, hospital beds. In Ghana, we have 0.9 beds per hospital population. So practically, it can't be that our beds are simply not adequate. But when you go to the functional issue, you can say no bed at the emergency, but there may be a bed on the ward. There may be a bed on another ward. And it's just an attitude of transferring a patient from here to that ward so you can create space. And people are not willing to do that. Mr. Speaker, as mentioned earlier, Kolebu Teaching Hospital, where I preside as the chairman of the board, was the last place that this man had his last breath. And we are very sorry about this. We have taken our own measures. We have interdicted 4 staff, and we have set up a committee to investigate. The Minister of Health, as alluded to by the Deputy Minister, has also set up a very high-level committee headed by the revered Professor Bedu Akosa, Professor Adman Bedu Akosa, and they are working to see the exact cause of this particular incident. But I'm also proud to announce that to bring a comprehensive solution, building on the efforts of previous ministers, the current Minister of Health had already set in motion a team to solve this situation comprehensively. And they are coming out with a document that is going to be looking at a national integrated bed management and referral coordination system. This will be backed by IT and is going to allow us at the real time to be able to tell the categories of bed that are available in a particular hospital. Whether you don't have stroke bed or ICU bed or bed for a pregnant woman or for a child. This work has been ongoing. It is unfortunate that while it was in its final weeks, this incident has happened. And the minister has asked the group to quicken up their work so that he can make a major announcement on this to bring a comprehensive change that would help us. It will rope in the ambulance service so that when the ambulance picks a patient, they don't ask the patient or their relative or a doctor in a small private hospital, can you tell us which hospital is willing to accept this patient? This is the current situation. I have had calls from a lot of colleagues here. They need a patient moved to Kolebu, and the response be that there is no bed at Kolebu emergency. But when I call, there will be a bed. Why? So this is what this problem, solution that the minister is bringing is going to solve. And I'm pleading that Parliament will give the minister all the support needed so that this problem can be solved once and for all. Mr. Speaker, I will conclude by saying that our ambulance service, by their acts and by their function, may also need to be reviewed. Currently, they do scoop and run. What it means is, at an accident scene, they can pick you up, but they can't even set a simple IV line to give you fluid. For this patient who was being moved from hospital to hospital, if a simple normal saline was running, this patient could have survived. The minority leader mentioned his BP at the beginning. At Kolebu, when they checked the BP in the ambulance monitor, it had come down to 84/56. That is someone who is just about dying. So if they could at least set a line and run some fluid in transit, a lot of patients will survive. So the model that allowed them to only scoop and run must be changed, and their training must be upgraded so that have paramedics that are specialized to be able to provide some basic care. But in conclusion, attitude is our biggest problem. All of this will not change if the attitude does not change. May I stand on this to appeal to my colleague health workers. Look at that next patient, that it could be you, it could be your father, it could be your mother. It doesn't have to be another doctor calling you before you create a bed and accept the patient, because the one that can call, maybe you may be the one unconscious who will call on your behalf.
Speaker, I'm so grateful, and just like my colleagues, I would also like to use the opportunity to extend condolences to the bereaved family and to wish them God's strength in this moment of grief. Speaker, at the heart of this whole thing, partly is the response that we often receive from our health practitioners. I recall during last meeting, one dawn I woke up to prepare for a television show, and then unknown to me, I went blackout. I was fortunate my son had the extent to which I fell and moved from his room to come to our master bedroom. And he managed to wake my wife up. They lifted me to one of the foremost health facilities in this country. Speaker, when we got there, my younger brother went in and drew their attention. They just told him, send him to another place. Speaker, it took my wife to tell them that the man lying in there is an MP. Then the rush in came. So the kernel of this issue sometimes is the discrimination by these professionals. And the discrimination they offer tend to make you and I, Speaker, be victims before the general public. I listened to one of the airwaves, the radio stations this morning, and none of us was spared. Speaker, not even yourself. The public holds an erroneous view that we are not doing much. Meanwhile, we are doing at least the best we could under the circumstances. But the response that comes from our practitioners, some of them, leaves much to be desired. And that is what we must focus on. Speaker, I think that the next thing for me has to do with the fact that we have overly concentrated our health facilities in Accra. And so, be it professionals, be it equipment, be it tools, most of them are here. So everything that happens in the 15 other regions must come to Kolebu, must go to UGMC, and so it makes these professionals also overstretch. And so government must relentlessly look at that angle. I am happy and delighted to know that at least under the administration of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, his first tenure, he has demonstrated unyielding commitment to expanding some of this infrastructure. It's not enough. We must admit that we need to do more. And we must let and carry the public along that We are not the kind of ruling class that always takes interest in going to London, Germany, America, and all other places to seek treatment. But then we are doing our bit, and we must win their confidence. This issue must not be left to go unchecked. I thank the ministry, I thank the government for instituting swiftly an investigation. The outcome must be brought on time, in real time, Speaker, so that we take decisive steps to ensure that this doesn't rear its ugly head. Speaker, I thank you so much for this opportunity.
In some jurisdictions, they would have been outraged. There would have been public outrage, not the type that I see happening. That an accident victim was moved from hospital to hospital, and the medical personnel there refused to treat it as an emergency. It says everything about us as a country. The indiscipline, the disregard for human life, the lack of fellow feeling, that we don't see that this is a fellow Ghanaian who, whatever we are doing, we must stop and attend to. Otherwise, a life will be lost. We must be outraged about a thing like this. Mr. Speaker, I believe that we must get to the bottom of matters like this. And I thank my colleague for bringing the matter up. And I think that at all times, this Parliament must hold those responsible for such conduct, to account. See, we talk about it, and then we leave it there. It happened in 2018. What happened? What did we do? How did those accountable fare at that time? This is what those who have done it today will be inspired by. They will talk, they will do nothing. We want to see action this time. We want to see people held accountable so that the rest of the health personnel across the country will know that this Parliament will not sit idly by whilst people negligently lead to the loss of life, such as what we have seen. So I thank my colleague for raising it. And Mr. Speaker, I do agree with him that even though government says we are setting up a committee to look into it, that this Parliament should be interested in what happens.
That's Majority Leader and MP for Boku Central, Mahama Ayariga, ending that debate in Parliament on the no-bed syndrome that led to the death of one person last week. That's by way of Eyewitness News tonight. I am Umaru Sandamado. I did this with Fafa Melody Potufe. Production by Beverly London, Juliana Odami Asari, Kobina Wilson, Fred Tetejabano, Sami Biafi. New media support from Desmond Nyako, Edwin Kwakofi, and the new media team supported us online. We'll be back tomorrow at 17:30 GMT. But if you want some music to accompany you on the journey home, take a time with Miguel, MC Miguel. The Miguel who can speak Spanish. Miguel who can speak Spanish. Down to a Miguel. Anyway, you listen.
Citi News.